Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi out here. It's Saturday morning, and we're doing a Saturday Share the Love Club for one of the voices of the Raptors in our history. Of course, Chuck Swirsky. Chuck Swirsky just finished up last weekend covering the CEBL, the Canadian Elite Basketball League, this summer. He's done it the last couple of summers, and he is the voice of the CBL at this time. I love the fact that Chuck returns to Canada and covers our Canadian Elite Basketball League. And yeah, it's a nostalgia thing in some ways. In some ways, it's very attractive to have Chuck Swirsky calling CBL because he's iconic in some ways in Raptors and sports history here in Canada. People know Chuck Swirsky's voice. So you watch CBL games and you hear Chuck's call, you get really kind of like, wow, this is just like the Raptors around the turn of the century, because that's when he showed up around the turn of the century. Of course, he was calling all the games during the Vinsanity event that was going to get honored this year, going to the Hall of Fame. And of course, we're going to honor Vince Carter on his 25th anniversary of his dunk competition on February the 12th. Hello, Raptors fans. If you don't know this, I will continue to broadcast this since y'all ain't listening. But yeah, Chuck Swirsky was the man who had the call. In fact, we love Chuck Swirsky so much. I got some props today. Onions, baby. Onions. That's right. Chuck had onions, baby. Onions. That's right. I actually have onions here with me. In some ways, they smell, but that's that's the dedication of the Rat Free channel. We're going to have some onions on Chuck Swirsky. Share the Love Club. Y'all, I really want y'all to talk about your memories about Chuck being around the Raptors organization. And also, if you have CBL memories, whatever memory you got of Chuck, let's share the love for our former voice of the Raptors, Chuck Swirsky. He really is very iconic to a lot of young Raptor fans. Raptor fans heard his voice when they were young kids, and in some ways, he made it so exciting. Him and Jack Armstrong were a pretty good combo. Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong are great too, but Jack Armstrong and Chuck Swirsky was something else back in the day. In some ways, I can always think of Chuck saying, "Jack, I would like to." He always said Jack's name a certain way when he would call the game. But yeah, tell me your favorite Chuck Swirsky memories, and we'll talk about the man. We'll talk about why he left Toronto. We'll talk about the Max Headroom incident. I don't know if y'all know about this. It's pretty interesting. And yeah, just the history of Chuck Swirsky. Chuck is 70 now, guys. That's how old he is now. He's 70 years old. I don't know if you guys knew he was that old. He's much older than Jack Armstrong, which is interesting. I always thought Jack was the older one between him and Chuck back 25 years ago, but it was actually Chuck Swirsky was much older than Jack Armstrong. So yeah, interesting stuff. So yeah, let's share the love for good old Chuckster, Chuck Swirsky. Yeah, he's kind of a legend in Chicago too, for different reasons. He's been involved in broadcasting in Chicago in different chapters of his life. Of course, he was there in the beginning of his broadcasting career around WGN and other places, calling games and doing sports reporting. He's actually been on the WGN News as the sports anchor for fill-in, not as the regular. But there were times where you could see Chuck Swirsky on WGN doing the sports on their broadcast. So yeah, we'll talk more about Chuck. I'll talk a little bit more about why he left. That may be interesting to you guys. It's like, why did Chuck leave? There's a lot of people wonder that. Why did Chuck leave? It's weird because he had just became a Canadian citizen. And in fact, Chuck is a very proud Canadian. He's a Canadian American, dual citizen. And right after he finished the process, all of a sudden he was like, well, I got to move to Chicago, guys. I'm out. Peace. And I'm like, what? Huh? And at first, when Chuck left and we got Matt Devlin, I rejected Matt Devlin because I love Chuck Swirsky so much. But Matt Devlin, you've totally won me over. And it actually didn't take you as long as I thought it would. First couple of years, I was like, Matt Devlin, he's kind of bland and boring compared to Chuck. But boy, did Matt Devlin overtake some things later on. He's just fantastic. I'm so happy Matt Devlin's our voice. But if it had been Chuck Swirsky this whole time, I would have been fine with it too, because he was very, very good. But yeah, losing Chuck was tough, but man, did they do a good job replacing him by getting Matt Devlin. I don't want to slight Matt Devlin in any kind of way, because he is the voice of the Raptors, and he is a very, very important part of our history for the last what is it now? It's 15 years or so, something like that. Matt Devlin's been our voice, and Chuck's been gone since like 2008, something like that. Anyway, guys, let's show love for Chuck Swirsky. That's right. Onions, baby. Onions. Yeah, I actually got onions. I will not eat them. No, 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 no. We ain't doing that. If you were here the one day I ate a raw onion on the air on one of my live streams about a year and a half ago, yeah, I'm not doing this again. I did it and it messed me up. Let's just put it that way. So I ain't eating no raw onion. Y'all remember that, right? You remember when I ate that raw onion on the air? I tried to eat the whole thing like an apple. That was ridiculous. Really, really poor judgment by me. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's see what's going on with you guys in the chat to start off here. Trevor Jace here. Good morning, family. If we don't handle our independence very well, colonizers will come back in the form of investors. This is weird. This is weird. This is a weird one, but I agree with it. In some ways, it's like, look, in some ways, wow, this is very deep, Trevor. This word of wisdom today. When you use a word like colonizers, that's very heavy word. I get what you're saying in some ways. I mean, let's think about this like in the world of hip hop. How about that? A young black kid who's got talent or something like that. He wants to get somewhere. Well, you want to be independent as an artist. If you can have your own label and do your own things in the music industry, that's better than having, as you say, colonizers. Maybe you could call them music executives or music label people parasiting off of you. Yeah, yeah, I think this is true. I think this is true for a lot of different people in a lot of different industries. Independence is great. And if you don't have to rely on other people in certain ways, that is very helpful. That's why they used to tell kids when they're growing up, learn how to fix a car on your own. Well, what did the auto industry do? They switched it all to computers and tech. And now nobody knows how to fix their car for themselves. Everybody has to take their car into the dealership. That sucks. In some ways, they colonized cars that way and said, you got to go and do this now. You got to go see the dealership if you want your car fixed because it's all tech. It's not like ratchets and changing oil and like people used to do in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, they changed that. The automotive industry did that on purpose to screw y'all from being able to be independent. I can't fix my truck. I have no idea how to fix an electric truck. Yeah, I have no idea. I'd have to take it to them to fix it. Yeah, so I get this. I totally get this. And yeah, when you add elements of people of color and things like that, that's doubly evil considering the history of the world. Yeah, Monique is here. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Always loved Chuck's energy during Raptors games. Yes, enthusiasm. As somebody put in something I read just in the last little while, Chuck made the losing and the tough times on the Raptors exciting still. That, some of the teams that he called were not good. Let's just put it that way. It was very tough times in certain parts of Chuck Swirsky calling our games. And he made it more entertaining and fun because of his energy. Exactly what Monique's talking about right here. Good to see the super fan in here. Of course, she wants to celebrate a great Raptor legend like Chuck Swirsky. That's for sure. Chuck was made for the broadcast. This is true. Chuck has a very good broadcasting voice. He's super, super professional. He's a very, very awesome human being, just in general. He's a very considerate and caring person. He's somebody who's not afraid to take stands on certain things. There's been a little bit of controversies with him because of politics and different things that he may say. He has a history of very interesting broadcasting things happening to him. Let's talk about the Max Headroom incident real quick. Do you guys know who Max Headroom is? Max Headroom was a computerized man with the sunglasses and a suit that was on media around the 80s. It was like right around Pac-Man and Rubik's Cube were big in the world at that time. And it's an interesting story because there was two kind of things that happened with Max Headroom. There was the show with Matt Freyer playing Max Headroom, and it was kind of a TV show, but it was based on something that happened. And basically, there was a pirate transmission that came over the air on WGN in the 80s of Max Headroom coming on there and speaking crazy stuff. It was kind of like they overrode the source of the TV and they jumped in there. It was like kind of like very ahead of its time and scary. It scared the hell out of a lot of people too. It was like, whoa, I'm watching this. And some people thought it was satanic. Some people thought it was like aliens. Some people thought like, what the hell is going on? Well, most people don't know that this happened in the Chicago region on WGN and that Max Headroom literally name called Chuck Swirsky out. There's a clip where he says Chuck Swirsky, that liberal, he calls him a liberal. It's hilarious. So yeah, the Chuck Swirsky comment by Max Headroom when he did the pirated takeover of the TV, like they didn't know what was happening. He overrode it somehow and got on the broadcast. And he was being critical of Chuck because I don't know why. Maybe Chuck said something really nice or something he cared about somebody. And he was like, Chuck Swirsky, you liberal. That's what he called him. It's so weird. But yeah, very, very interesting part of Chuck's history, being name called by Max Headroom when he did a pirated takeover. This is like in 1985, y'all. This is like a long time ago. I mean, Chuck started his broadcasting career in the 70s, and he's been around sports doing different things. Like he called Michigan basketball for a while in Michigan. Of course, he was on WGN before. He's been involved with the Cubs. Of course, he's still involved with the Bulls right now. And of course, he's involved with the Raptors for his time when he was with us. A lot of people said that he had a dream job when he was working for the Raptors, that was absolutely his dream job, working, calling NBA games and being the voice of the Raptors. Why did he walk away? Well, we're going to talk more about that. But yeah, let's hear some more Chuck Swirsky memories from you guys. Tommy Dookie's got the onions out, baby. That's right, onions, baby. I'm so emotional today, Tom. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's Chuck Swirsky Show, the Love Club, and there's onions here, baby. Onions. Yeah. 30th anniversary. That's right. In some ways, some of these stuff that I'm gonna do in the next couple months before the season starts is going to be commemorating a history of the Raptors, and Chuck Swirsky is definitely part of our history. So yeah, this is part of the 30th anniversary of the Raptors starting up. Yeah, we're going retro. Let's go Chuck this time. Yeah, let's go Chuck Swirsky, especially since the CBL wrapped up. I don't want to honor him for Bulls stuff. I want to honor him for Raptors stuff and for CEBL stuff. Yeah, Chuck can't quit Canada. He loves Canada so much. You know, when Chris Broussard spoke out of his ass about Canada coming up here is different for African Americans is bullshit. Chuck came out and said, what an idiot. He came at him good, just like a lot of people did at that time. Chuck Swirsky was standing for Canada and telling him off and saying, like, Chris Broussard doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He really, really doesn't. So Chuck's a real one. He's a real one for us. And when he left, it wasn't because he didn't want to be here, guys. I'm going to say that over and over again. Everybody's like, well, Chuck's a sellout. He left. No, nobody's saying that. Don't say that. Because Chuck, if he had it his way, he would have been on the Raptors broadcast for this whole time since then. And it's just a circumstance that had him go down south again. Cool Cat is here. Good to see the coach. Cool Cat. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Weekend early rise. Yeah, I had a... All right, you guys want a little funny story about my life out here in the woods now. I have a new alarm clock here at my new studio. And what happens is I have a red squirrel that lives outside. I call him Reddy, the red squirrel. And we're developing a friendship. I give him almonds, and we have a little bit of talking back and forth. I'm going to get to the point where he's very comfortable with me. And I'm hoping that he'll be on the show at some point so I can introduce you to Reddy, the red squirrel. Well, Reddy this morning woke me up. First of all, he kind of chatters his warning chatter at me. He does that, and then he does a whine, it's like a submissive whine. It's like afterwards. And I do the submissive whine back at him. It's kind of like good morning. And he's kind of like an alarm. He goes off at like 7 in the morning sometimes, maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock. It is right around the half hours. I don't know how he does that. But he'll go off once. I'll ignore him. And then he'll go off again about half an hour. And I'm like, man, this is like a natural alarm clock. He's literally waking me up in the morning. And it's kind of cool. Because his house is next to where I'm staying in the studio right now. The studio actually is a bedroom suite also. So anyway, this morning I got woken up by thunks, like bunk, bunk. And like even some of them hit the roof of the studio. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I look out the window and there's a bunch of bright green pine cones because I have really tall trees next to me. They're like 100 feet tall. And Reddy lives in the trees. And he was throwing pine cones at my studio this morning. And they were going thunk, thunk, thunk. And well, he woke me up. He woke me up early. I got up at 7 because he's throwing pine cones at my studio. So just a little aside there. about my adventures with Reddy the Red Squirrel, waking me up early rising. Yeah, that's right. Tommy's got the sunglasses on. He's up early himself. It's right now in Tom's neck of the woods over there in British Columbia. It is 3 hours after us. It's 6:45 in the morning. Tommy's up a quarter to 7 right now. And we love you, Tommy. The emoticon giant, always doing such great work and helping me with this channel, with his cool behind the scenes stuff. That's right. Cowboy's here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Dap to you, Cowboy. Let's see. He's got Jakob. It looks like Scotty. It looks like we got RJ and Grady and Emmanuel. It looks like Cowboy's giving us a starting lineup that he'd like to see get out on the court. Yeah, more talk about who could be starting. There's an article out on Davion Mitchell and from Raptors Rapture or Raptors Republic, one of those ones, talking about the possibilities of him being a good point guard for us, a backup point guard. I mean, I did speculate this week that he could start with IQ as a defensive kind of starter. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see who's going to start, Cowboy, for sure. We'll have to see. Always good to see the Cowboy in here. David is here. David's mind is blown. He's an angel. He's got his fingers crossed and money. This is very interesting emoticon language from our commissioner of trivia, David Saborin. I don't even know what this means exactly, but because David's here and there's a few of you guys here, we're going to go ahead and get the classic card of the day because that's what we do when David shows up and we got our trivia. So y'all be ready. And seriously, y'all really, we don't need these vibes around the Raptors of half-assery. We need to full-ass things as Kareem would do before and not butt dial life. We need to go ahead and get the name right. And even spelling could count. So get that right too. So don't if you guys think it's somebody, don't put half their name and guess. Figure out what their full name is before you drop it because there's seagulls around and they will come get your French fry. How about that? All right, let's see. No. Of course, we did 2 yesterday because we missed a day. All right, we'll do this one. We can do this one. All right, guys, let's see. I'm not going to show this very close. Now, the cool thing about this card is this is actually a Raptors card. We don't often get a card that is actually for the team, the Raptors. We'll have former Raptors on here, but this is actually a real Raptors card right here. And it is pretty simple. So we'll go ahead and show it. I'm not going to show it very close. And y'all go ahead and tell me what you think it is. Who do you think that is from a distance? That is a Raptors jersey. And it is a Raptors card. I don't want to tell you who it is or get it too close. I want to see if somebody, this is an eye test. Let's see who has got good eyes. And some people are like expanding and coming in close. There you go. Tommy Dookie getting it. It's an easy Chris Bosh card right here. It's kind of cool. It's got purple lettering. Look at that old school kind of purple Bosh lettering. And what is this card saying? It's Chris Bosh Raptors forward. And it's a Fleer. And we don't get a lot of actual Raptors cards, which is pretty cool that we actually got one today. There he is, Georgia Tech. Look at the way they wrote that name, Bosh. It looks cool. This is after his 3rd year in the team and talking about his ranks and where he came from and stuff like that. It's a pretty nice card. I'm not a big fan of Chris, but if you guys want this card, it'll be at the next Raptor Freak hangout, and you can have this Chris Bosh card. I will give it to one of the Raptor Freaks. A Raptors card. So yeah, good job by Tommy getting Chris Bosh. 75 for Tom from David Saborin, the trivia commissioner. Yeah, Chris Bosh. That's right, Chris Bosh. Yeah. Anyway, we'll put that in the box, and it'll be there the next time we have a meet and greet, guys. So all right, let's get back to the top of the chat and see Alan Tam. Bam, son. Hey, Alan, did you like Chuck Swirsky? Tell me about Chuck Swirsky, Alan Tam. Bam, son. Tommy's saying Jack and Matt have serious chemistry. They do at this point. But, Chuck and Jack had some really good chemistry, too. I'm not going to lie. You know that Chuck would call the games with Leo back in the day, too. And that was pretty cool. Leo Routens would be in there as a color commentator with Chuck Swirsky on play-by-play. And that combo wasn't bad either, guys. Actually, I would say that Leo was better with Chuck than he was with Matt. How about that? Because they did sometimes have Matt Devlin and Leo Routens do the games early in Matt Devlin when he came in. But Chuck and Leo, that was an interesting combo back in the day. In fact, we'll do Leo Routens' life tips for this morning. He's saying true strength is doing what you know is right when you really don't want to. Ooh, yeah, you do the right thing, Spike Lee, even if it's hard to do. Make sure you do the right thing. That's right. Tom's saying, I'm more familiar with them for sure. Jack and Matt, yeah. I mean, Tommy, if man, Chuck was something else. He really was. In some ways, I would say Chuck Swirsky was the best announcer in the NBA when he was the Raptors announcer. I really do believe that. He just had that delivery, that personality. He's just such a giving person. Like I said the other day, Chuck Swirsky is the kind of guy that mentors and gives really good advice and support to young people that are trying to get into his industry. And I've seen it on Twitter. People will write Chuck directly and he will write them back. He is not somebody who has airs and he is not someone that is selfish. I'll tell you that. That's for damn sure. The man gives back to young people that are coming up in his industry. And he's been very, very giving with advice on how to get ahead in broadcasting. And I applaud him for that. Is in some ways, some people in his job look at everybody else's competition. Well, he is out there helping youngsters figure it out on how to get jobs and what to do in radio and TV. So, man, Chuck Swirsky's like that. Let's just put it that way. He's just like that. Yeah. Yeah. Tom's saying, oh, wow, when you ate that onion, yuck. Yeah, that was funny. I may have been a little bit hard to watch in some ways. It was really silly and stupid. The aftermath of that was very, very sick for the rest of the day. I had stomach problems and I was in bad shape. I was very much in bad shape because I don't know how much of the the onion I ate. I think I ate about a third of it. And that's gross. You shouldn't eat a raw onion like an apple and just, yeah, that was bad. That was very, very bad. David's saying, I have no idea who Chuck Swirsky is, to be honest, but I love you, Chuck. You guys really need to go and learn more about Chuck. Seriously. He's this goofy looking guy, bald guy. He's really kind of dopey looking, but he was amazing on the call. He just has the perfect radio voice. He's like, he was so good, guys. Seriously. And the other thing that was cool about Chuck was he worked at Fan 590 in the turn of the century, and he had like 3-hour radio shows. Then he'd come on and he'd do call-in shows, and people would call in. I called into his show. I talked to Chuck on the broadcast a couple of times where I'd call into his Chuck Swirsky show on the Fan 590. And he was always so nice. He was like, well, hello, Alexi. Caller Alexi. Yes, you're on the air. What is your question today? He's always so polite and awesome and professional. And I'd be like, hi, Chuck. I just wanted to say that Vince Carter, I don't know what's going on with him. Why isn't he like jumping right now? Well, that's a great question, Alexi. I'm not totally sure. He might be hurt right now. There was stuff like that going on, stuff like that. It's very, very cool. So, you know what? In some ways, this is what we got to do this year. It's the 30th anniversary of the Raptors. We got to shore up those holes of knowledge in our newer fans and know all the legends throughout the history of the Raptors history, like Chuck Swirsky, youngsters, people like David and Tom that are not familiar. Well, I would say this, guys. Why don't y'all go and YouTube Chuck Swirsky greatest hits of Raptors and just listen to him call some calls from back in the day. In some ways, if you watch old Vince Carter clips, you're going to hear Chuck Swirsky if they have the broadcast involved. He was the one who did all those crazy calls like Air Canada flying in, stuff like that. He was a big part of, once again, the broadcaster names a lot of the nicknames and does a lot of that stuff. It's like people say, oh, you want to make a nickname for Ulrich Shamshay? Well, Matt Devlin is probably going to be a big part of what the nickname happens because that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. The call is what makes it iconic. The person calling the call, Matt Devlin, Chuck Swirsky, they will make the nicknames for Raptors because their call gets really cool in the dunk and whatever happens there. Yeah. Yeah. Cowboys laughing. Most saying Chuck's call during Mo Pete's amazing Hail Mary 3 will always be legendary in Washington. That's a great memory. That's what I'm talking about right there. Slam dunk for Monique Lawrence, bringing up a great memory. Morris Peterson threw this crazy Hail Mary half-court shot against the Washington Wizards in one game, and it was amazing. And Chuck's call was like, oh, my gosh, or something like that. You got to see he put a lot of energy and a lot of emotion, and he really used his voice as a tool to amp up the intensity and the excitement. And he's just so good at that. In some ways, Matt Devlin does it too. And I'm not trying to put down Matt Devlin today. we're going back in history, and we're talking about the great Chuck Swirsky and the work he did with the Raptors. Monique, you're 136. I gave you a 3. Yeah, that call is a very iconic call for Chuck. Mo Pete for 3 from half court. Yeah, it was amazing shot. It's an amazing shot. Tommy saying, I just watched that incident with Chuck. So strange. I guess that was Max's deal. Well, the thing was, Tommy, I think that it was an industry person that did it. I think that they were somebody who had a personal grind with Chuck because they were butting heads with them in the industry. And in some ways, it's kind of cool. It's an honor for Chuck because that's a really weird television history moment that's infamous. And I remember when I heard that clip a long time ago, I remember hearing the name Chuck Swirsky in it, but I'm like, why are they saying Chuck Swirsky's name? I did not put two and two that he was working there and that it is the same Toronto Raptors Chuck Swirsky that Max Headroom was calling out at that time. It's crazy. It's crazy. So it's kind of a cool thing. Tommy's got the link in the chat if you guys want to see the Max Headroom clip of him calling Chuck Swirsky a liberal. You liberal, Chuck Swirsky, you liberal. Yeah, Chuck Swirsky's a liberal because he's got onions, baby. Onions. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Hijacking of a news broadcast. It scared the hell out of people. It was just like War of the Worlds, Orson Welles, coming over the right radio and telling everybody aliens are invading. People thought that shit was real and they freaked the hell out back in the 40s or something like that. So this was weird. It really scared the hell out of people. Just imagine a grandma sitting at home in Chicago watching TV and all of a sudden Max Headroom's coming on and laughing at them. And we're like, holy shit, the aliens are here, Ethel. We better go get the gun. Yeah, something like that, man. That's right. All right. Trevor's going to talk about something that I don't even really care about talking about, but it is Raptor related and newsworthy. It was announced yesterday that Goran Dragic is going to have a farewell game this month. Oh my gosh. What a loser. Oh my gosh. He couldn't leave the NBA and his basketball career on his own terms. So he's going to hire or have a bunch of his friends come in and they're going to play a half-assed all-star game to commemorate him retiring. What an egomaniac. What a ridiculous idiot. Who has ever done this? Seriously. And why does he deserve this? Seriously. Okay, maybe there's some sort of heroism in the Miami Heat world. Yeah, who cares? That's not really general basketball world. It just really doesn't seem like he's important enough to do this. And then, okay, Slovenia or whatever country, Serbia, I don't even fucking know what country he's from anymore. I've blocked him out of my memory. I don't care. It's one of those S countries over there. I don't give a shit which one it is. Well, apparently he's going to have a convoluted game, but this is so crazy, guys. It's so weird. And in fact, we should bring it up because of this guy right here. This guy right here, Chris Bosh. Apparently, Chris Bosh is going to play in this Goran Dragic farewell game. If that doesn't seal the deal that this guy is not Raptors Nation, that he is Heat Nation, that he's going to come back from not playing since 2016, 8 years since Chris Bosh played basketball. They cleared him to play this charity game, whatever stupid game it is, fluffing Goran's ego game is what I'll call it. He's going to be able to play in it. Now, Isaac's asking me in the chat yesterday, does this mean that Koloko will probably be able to play in the NBA? No, because it's not NBA officials that are saying Chris Bosh can play in a Goran Dragic convoluted, stupid-ass retirement game. No, it's his own doctors. And honestly, how much running do you think Chris is going to do in this game? Seriously. I was saying yesterday the Goran Dragic farewell game is going to be worse than the All-Star game. It's because there's going to be a bunch of old guys out there that aren't even that good, and they're going to half-ass everything out there. And why do you even do this, Goran? Because it's probably going to be a big joke. Seriously, what is this? The names on the list are interesting. The one person that I think I'm most interested in that's going to be on that list is Steve Nash. That's right. Now, Steve Nash and Goran Dragic played together in Phoenix. And when Dragic first hit the league, Nash was his first ever mentor. Now, Nash is like 50 plus aged. Yeah. And he's going to come and play in this farewell game, whatever, ego exercise by dumbass Tragic. Yeah. It's weird, though. They've mixed up current players with these old names. Like Luol Deng is on the name. Like Luol Deng, who's in charge of South Sudan's team, is going to come back and play in this game with Steve Nash and Chris Bosh and Goran Dragic. He should have all the old guys on his team. And then they're going to have people like Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Why are these guys showing up? Y'all are better than this. Seriously. Why are y'all showing up? Seriously. Is he Slovenian or Serbian? I don't fucking remember. I don't care. So all right, Luca, you're there because you're Slovenian. Is that why you're there? Oh yeah, it is. He's Slovenian, and Luca's friends with him. So of course Luca's gonna be there. But why the fuck is Jokic showing up? I don't know. The whole thing's dumb and convoluted. Whatever you need for yourself, Goran Dragic, you stupid dumbass idiot. In some ways, I appreciate you bringing the great Steve Nash out of retirement to play one dumbass exhibition game where probably nobody's going to run. Are they going to televise this shit? Are there going to be highlights? Because there could be some embarrassment for a guy like this and a guy like Luol Deng and Steve Nash. Yeah, it's ridiculous. This Goran Dragic news is stupid. And honestly, you're such a loser. You couldn't have a farewell tour in the NBA because nobody would play you because you sucked so bad in the last 2 years you were in the NBA. So you're gonna pay people and set up your own little stupid ass party, man. This is Trump kind of shit, Goran Dragic. This is Trump kind of shit you're doing here, man. What a loser, Goran! You are such a loser. And Miami fans, you can be like, "Oh, it's so cool" and all this stuff. No, it's not cool. It's lame as fuck. And I have never heard of a player do this before. Seriously, who the fuck has done this ever? Jeremy Lin has charity games. This going to charity. There's no charity for this shit, I'll bet. Maybe there is, and I don't know about them, but they're not putting it on blast. They're just saying, oh, it's Goran's farewell game. Fucking farewell your ass like 2 years ago when you were on the Raptors and you sorry piece of shit said, I have higher expectations. Well, what are your higher expectations? To make a convoluted, stupid ass farewell game now. That's what it is. Yeah, good. Yeah, your expectations. Yeah, you sorry ass piece of shit. That's what I'll say to Goran Dragic right there. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous and it's stupid. And Chris Bosh, okay, you're gonna show up and play? Yeah, you're gonna walk on the court up and down the court because people are telling you can't fully exert. That's right. Kareem saying it's crazy because I'm actually eating salami and cheese. You're eating salami and cheese right now, Kareem? Wow, that's just perfect for this Saturday Share the Love Club for our great old Raptors announcer, Chuck Swirsky. That's right, Chuck. In some ways, the youth need to know about Chuck. If you don't know about Chuck, well, we need to teach you about Chuck. That's right, Chuck Swirsky. That's right. Most saying Chuck's personal life. He recently got married a few years ago, but I'll leave it to you, Lex. Okay, all right, Mo. Just dropping a little bit of a hint. Now, what happened was this: Chuck became Canadian and he wanted to stay here. It was like he became a Canadian citizen, but all of a sudden he moved back to the States and went to Chicago and took the radio job. He was on TV here. He was the TV and radio play-by-play announcer for the Raptors. But there was already a crew in Chicago that was set up, so he wouldn't get the TV job when he went to Chicago. So that's kind of a demotion, honestly, because the TV job is more money and more prestigious than the radio job. That's just the damn truth. And well, he's doing the radio and he has been doing the radio since. Sometimes he's the fill-in on TV, but most of the time he's calling it on the radio with Bill Wennington, great Canadian legend, Chicago Bull champion. And well, that's the weird shit. Why would he do that? Why would he leave a country he just became the citizen of, that he just wanted to be here? He loved it here. He talked about how much he loved Canada all the time. Why would he get a demotion and go back to the States? Well, there's been speculation. Now, the thing I heard back in the day and the reasoning why was because one of his children had special needs or special health concerns and that they needed to go there to help the child with this. That is what I always heard was the reason. And that may very well be exactly what the reason is. But there are further speculative reasons. Now, I want to preface this, what I'm going to say right now, with this may not be true what I'm saying. This may be just a rumor. In some ways, I don't want to know exactly what happened in Chuck Swirsky's personal life, but there are people that have said this. And I want to preface that I may not be telling you the truth or anything right now. And this is just speculative. That what happened was there's two different things, and one of them doesn't sound right, and one of them sounds like it's plausible. The first one that doesn't sound right is that Chuck cheated on his wife and that she wanted to move back to Chicago to be around her family more. And also this issue with the child that needed health help. And that Chuck's wife gave him an ultimatum and told him, you've got to move back to the States or I'm going to leave you and take the children away from you. And you can be up here by yourself. But I want to be back in the States with the support of the family. A lot of it centers around the wife. Now, I don't know if Chuck's cheated. I don't know if that's really the rumor. I don't believe. because he seems like a very family man kind of guy, and it just doesn't seem like it's in his DNA or his personality. So the other part of it is that his wife at that time, because apparently this is what happened, and this is very similar to what happened to me, guys. His wife told him basically, I'm not happy here in Canada and I want to move back to the States. And if you don't move back with me, I'm going to take our children and move back no matter what. And without the cheating or anything. She's just like, I don't like being in Canada. I want to go back to the States. Well, Chuck chose family and he went with her to Chicago. And that, I think that could be plausible that she had an ultimatum for him because it's very like much a very sudden decision. And it didn't really line up with the way he was acting, the way he was feeling, and the way he loved the Toronto Raptors job. So it sucks because apparently this is what happened. He went to Chicago and he came back for his wife, for his family, and she ended up leaving him anyway, like just a couple years after they got back. So that's kind of messed up, isn't it? Eh? This same thing happened to me. I was married and living in Toronto, and we had the economic downturn. And my ex wife started complaining about missing Florida because she was from Florida and wanting to see everybody. And we moved back down to Florida and she left me like 4 months after we went back to Florida. I'm like, I wouldn't have fucking came back to Florida if I knew we were going to move down here and you're just going to take off. I only came back here because I wanted to save our marriage. So I can relate if that is what happened to Chuck. But I think that it's very plausible that there was an ultimatum. It may not have been by his wife, but it could have been because of the health problem with his child. So yeah, I don't know any of this is true. This is all speculative, and some of it is just rumor. I won't say that any of this is exactly true, but it is true that he did leave, and that it was very sudden and abrupt, and it was a shock to Raptors fans. It really was a shock. We were like, Chuck's an institution. We want Chuck calling our games, but all of a sudden he was gone, and Matt Devlin showed up, which was great. Which was great. So yeah, you heard that Chuck got remarried in recent years. So that's good. That's good. I want Chuck to be happy. Chuck is a great soul and a great person, and people like him deserve to be very, very happy in their life, especially when they're so giving and amazing. That's what I would say right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Cowboys saying, "What the f did I just watch? That Max Headroom clip? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Really weird, eh? So weird. You guys are maybe younger, don't remember Max Headroom? They used him in like Coke commercials for a while. He was like a pirate radio transmission, but then he spawned into all this other stuff. He became a TV show with Matt Frewer was playing him. Then he became a cartoon. Even they came out with all kinds of merchandising, and then he was in like Pepsi or Coke commercials. He was selling Coke cans. So he went from like pirate radio icon or pirate TV icon to like a mainstream sellout corporate shill at this a very short time. Yeah, very short time. David's saying metabolism killers. That's what I saw in the link. Ha 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 ha. Metabolism killers. Let me see. Where's that link? Tommy, did you put a weird link in there? Where is the link? Let me click on it real quick and see what he's saying. Yeah, it's crazy. It's so weird. It's a weird clip. It's very like if you were watching TV all of a sudden and that just came over the screen all of a sudden, it would scare the shit out of you too, probably, especially at that time and place in the 80s when there wasn't like a lot of AI or technology, computers or the internet. Just think about that. It would be so freaky if there's like I obviously could tell it's a guy in a mask though, because it's not very high quality production, but still, it'd be freaky as hell, man. It would be freaky as hell if you saw that come up on your TV right there. Yeah. Yeah. Oh hell, no besters here. Fuck. Fuck. Tom saying, oh yeah, that's the classic card right there. Tommy likes the easy ones. So he's saying, and Isaac's applauding him, and so is Cowboy. Nice, Tom. And David's saying, what is a color commentator? I've never understood this. Okay, let's do a little education here. I'm always willing to answer any question. No question is stupid. Well, there's two broadcast positions, David, and this is something I learned in grad school in radio communication studies at Florida State, the Diffie building. As well, you've got the play-by-play announcer, who is basically Matt Devlin or Chuck Swirsky, and they're basically the guys who call the game. They like I do during our watch-alongs. They're saying, IQ has the ball, he passes it to RJ, RJ passes to Scotty, Scotty dunks it. That call. Then the other person in the broadcast is usually a person of knowledge from the thing that they're watching, the color commentator, and that is Jack Armstrong. It can be Leo Routens in the past. It could also be Sam Mitchell in the past. people that actually have basketball experience and are not broadcasters first. Matt Devlin and Chuck Swirsky never played basketball. When they did, they didn't get to high levels. And they're the announcers because they went to broadcasting school. Well, the guys who sit next to them, like Jack Armstrong, is the former coach of Niagara. He's a former basketball coach. So he comes in with the color of the commentary, to, elaborating the basketball stuff that's happening on the court. So, like Matt calls the plays and tells us what's happening, and Jack Armstrong adds the context. He adds like the details. That's it right there. David is a very simple analogy right there. There's three jobs. There's the play-by-play, the color commentator, and there's a sideline reporter. And the sideline reporter will be like Savannah Hamilton or Kayla Gray. And those are the broadcasting positions. It's much like we have centers, guards, and forwards. Well, there's a color commentator, a play-by-play, and a sideline reporter. And there's the post-game people. There's the pre-game people in there. And then there's apparently there's a new job on the broadcast, Bet Rivers, gambling degenerate shill, whatever that guy, Wilson Chang or whatever that is. So, yeah, that's it right there, David. The color commentator is Jack Armstrong or Alvin Williams. Alvin Williams is a great color commentator also, having a lot of experience as a Raptor who played for the Raptors in playoff games and won the first playoff series with the Raptors. And Alvin Williams is a very good color commentator because he knows what he's talking about because he lived it. So that's it right there. Color commentator, Alvin Williams, Jack Armstrong. There you go. There you go. David saying someone who didn't typically work in media, that's now a part of broadcast to make it less boring. No, it's a basketball knowledgeable person that can teach the game of basketball to people while the other person calls the game. And it's like basically when Matt doesn't say something, Jack's supposed to jump in and explain something about the game. That's how we're trained. Is that there's not supposed to be any dead air on the air. Somebody's got to be talking. And Matt Devlin can't just be talking the whole time. Well, he's got to take a breath. Well, Jack Armstrong's supposed to jump in there and say, when these big guys are supposed to be blocking people, they should catch the ball before it goes out of bounds. That's actually a Leo Orotton's thing to say. But I'm just saying, that's the difference right there. Nako's saying, did Chuck have that show, the Dink of the Day? I remember that being a thing on Fan 590. Dink of the Day? I don't know if he did Dink of the Day. I don't think that was him. Gerald. No, I don't remember him doing a Dink of the Day. He had other gimmicks that he used to do. I can't remember them all right now. Obviously, onions was what he would call it. When he called the onions, baby, onions call, it was kind of like 3 for 3 from like East Gwillimbury. Like Matt Devlin does the 3-point calls like from all over Canada, from different places. That's a 3 by Emmanuel Quickly from Sudbury. Shit like that. That's kind of how he did it. Meanwhile, back when Chuck was doing the play-by-play, he, Anthony Parker for 3. Onions, baby, onions, because he hits it. And he's like really emphatic about, and onions is an allusion to Fred VanVleet's big balls. Yeah, Fred VanVleet's big balls. That's what it is allusion to. When he says onions, baby, he means this guy's got nuts. This guy's got, he's big ball. That's the kind of thing what he was saying that, yeah. Cowboy's saying, I just realized you can zoom in on the live video. Did you do that too, Tom? Yeah, I said you can. You just take your fingers and you like do it on whatever you do on a screen, right? Yeah, you can zoom in a little bit. All right, here's Milbester. You've written a lot already, Milbester. I'm going to say, don't monopolize my stream with your bullshit, is what I'm going to say. Hey, Lex, how's the NBA schedule for the Raptors this season? Remind me who you guys play in the NBA Cup group. We went over this. I don't need to keep reminding you just for you. You can go look it up. How about that? Knicks NBA Cup group isn't too bad. Yeah, we went over this already. Well, what I'm going to say, I'm going to take Milbester's comment and I'm going to turn it into how I want to say about this. Karthika of TSN Stats has come out with a stat yesterday, and she crunched the numbers of the win percentages of the teams. And the Raptors have the strongest, the hardest strength of schedule before the knockout round in Vegas of the NBA Cup. That every game from the first game of the season up until they get the NBA Cup champion, we have the highest win percentage against us. So I'm telling you, this is the schedule hit job right here. Karthika has plainly showed it, that the Raptors have been given playoff teams like crazy in the first month and a half, the first 2 months of the season, and all the easy games are at the end of the year. Why would they do that? Because they want to sewer us at the beginning of the season with a bad record and hope we just stay down there and feel shitty and just keep working at like a 25% or 30% win percentage. Oh man, it is so convoluted and crazy. When Karthika's stat came out yesterday, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And looking at it, it looks like that. That the hardest schedule for any team in the NBA, to the point of the NBA Cup knockout round in Las Vegas in the middle of December, is the Raptors. Win percentage. They did that to us, and that's on purpose. That's on purpose. Now, this is the thing I'm gonna say. They expect us to lose those games. They expect us to lose this shit. But our Raptors are up and coming, young, talented guys who, in some ways, there's not a lot of expectations. So they're dangerous. In some ways, what I'm going to predict right now about the Raptors season is they're going to win some games they had no business winning, and people are going to be like, oh, eyes open. Yeah. Like, what if we beat some of these top playoff teams at the beginning of the season and we just go above and beyond because Scotty wanted to, and we just do it? Because I'm going to say this right now. Everybody expects us to not win any games. They came out with their prediction for us. They're giving us one more win than last season. 25 wins last year, and they think we're going to get 26 this year. Some of the people they're betting. Once again, bet the over on the Raptors win total this season. You win money in Vegas. But this is what I'm saying right now. They still think we're the same team at the end of the year without Scott and Jakob. That whole almost second half of the season, we were hurt and we were not the same team. And getting 25 wins is not the right number for us. So you go ahead and sleep on us and realize if we're healthy this year, we can win like way more than that. But I'm saying we have nothing to lose. We start beating some big teams, and people are like, whoa, wait a second. Why are the Raptors winning this game? They shouldn't have beat this team. This team is very good. Yeah, that's what I'm going to predict right now. You're going to say Raptors Freak said this on August the 17th, 2024, before the season even started, like 3 months before, that the Raptors are going to win some games against playoff teams they had no business winning against, and people are going to have those eyes icon, just like in the chat. Oh, they're going to be like, oh, looking at that. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. So, Milbester, thanks for being here. I might skip the rest of your comments, especially if they're just repeating shit. Come on now. Cowboys saying every game is going to be tough for the Knicks. Milbester. Yes, there. I'll go over a little bit about the Raptors and the Knicks. Of course, we have our only national televised game on ESPN against the Knicks in January. And that is a big rivalry because of RJ and OG and IQ. And Knicks fans want to see their old players on our team, and we want to see OG and Precious on y'all's team. So, it's good entertainment. And, of course, some of the games that are going to be on ESPN and the NBA TV games will be Knicks and Raptors because that's a high-interest matchup because of the trade last year. Yeah, let's see. All right, let's see. Milbester, I don't care. Yeah, I'm just going to skip you, my guy. Alan's saying there is a rotting roof at the Kensington Market, a building risk of collapsing. This is a very interesting story, Alan, and I saw this. I'm going to say this right now. That used to be one of my old convenience stores I used to go to. Yeah. It's so crazy. All right, listen. I lived a block away from that store for 4 years, Alan. And that store is ran by a Chinese family. They're very nice people. They've been robbed and had horrible things happen to them in the past. And they're on Dundas Street near Augusta. Now, that building is shady as hell. Now, some of my friends from Kensington were saying yesterday when they saw that picture that the roof of that building is one that many, many people have had drunk parties and jumping off the roof of. Now, the decay of that building, and it's weird because it's just like slanting and falling over onto the sidewalk. It's like leaning. It's like it detached somehow and came over. Now, the building I used to live in down the street was just as like decrepit and crazy. And if that kind of shit happened in my old apartment, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. That's very, very old buildings down there. My old apartment was 200 years old when I lived at 3 Kensington Avenue. That's the address I lived at. I'll even tell you which address I lived at. You can go look at that building and you can see I used to be the super there. Those were weird times. I'll tell you, my Kensington times were very weird. But yeah, very interesting building falling over in Kensington right now. I've seen that, and I know that building very well. That is a convenience store that I used to go to when I wasn't going to the one that I worked at. That was the one I used to go to otherwise. Cowboys saying, yep, and a huge flood in Montreal. I don't like hearing that. The thing that was weird yesterday was there was a particulate advisory in the Greater Toronto area. There was a blanket of a cloud cover over the GTA that held all the particulate in the air, and it was very tough to breathe for people who have sensitive respiratory issues. And I had a headache yesterday, and it was messing me up. I drove downtown to go see my grandmother yesterday, And it was giving me a headache just driving around in the smog and the grossness that was around Toronto yesterday. This is so bad. We need to put the big companies on blast that are destroying our quality of life and our quality of our air. These motherfuckers need to pay for the damage they do because it's not on us. They can tell us, oh, don't drive as much or anything. I know it's the big time polluters, and the problems with this kind of stuff is going to get worse and worse. Air quality concerns in major cities in Asia have been a problem for decades. And well, we're going to have more of it here, especially if idiots that are on the right wing continue to be in power and they deregulate emissions and the poisoning of our planet by the big corporations. So, yeah, everything that happened yesterday with the air quality in Toronto, that is the big company's fault. And we need to start putting that on blast more and putting the blame in the right place. It's on the big industries that pollute our air, that cause us to have health problems and problems breathing yesterday, to be honest. There you go. There you go. Milbester saying Suns have the hardest schedule to start the season, though. No, that's not right. That's bullshit, Milbester. That is not right. The Suns do not. The Raptors do. It has been crunched, and I will go by Karthika. She's a much better source than you. Karthika works for TSN, which is ESPN in Canada, and she's bona fide, and she did the numbers, and I don't question her. I won't question Keeks. I will question you, Milbester. And I'm not going to agree with you. You say the Suns have the hardest schedule to start the season. That's bullshit. Because Karthika is telling us right up until the middle of December, the Raptors have the hardest schedule. So don't give me this bullshit. Don't give me this bullshit. Yeah, you're lying. You're lying, Milbester. And I don't appreciate you being in here. I will ban you again if you continue to be a problem here. I'm going to say that. Alan saying Goran Dragic and Hedo Turkoglu, worst Raptors of all time. I could find worse ones. I could, honestly. Turkoglu is pretty good, yeah, for being on that list. But there was a little bit of Turkoglu that was worthwhile on the Raptors. I mean, the problem was that Turkoglu had so much expectations to come and save us as a very high profile free agency signing. And he just didn't take it seriously enough. Ball, it's just what it is. Turkoglu was a talented guy, and in some ways he had good games for us. I can't say that he's the worst. He is a bad free agent signing because he didn't pan out as much as he should have. I'll put Goran on a list of worst Raptors ever, sure. But you got to start thinking about people like Radojevic and Arujo and, people like this. Yeah, yeah. Milbester, I'm going to ignore you. And in some ways, I want to strike you out and kick you out of the channel again because you're bugging me, man. You're bugging me. Let's see. All right, see. So NBA schedule, Lex. Knicks face Raptors in November a couple times. At least y'all will see Achua and OG likely playing in Canada. I know Knicks fans want to see RJ again at MSG and quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Those games will be special this year between your team and our team. Yeah, they will. Yeah, yeah. I don't give a shit about your other stuff, though. Smooth saying, just join the stream. Bosch playing basketball in a Goran Dragic farewell game. Yeah, it's the most ridiculous thing. When Isaac posted it in our Facebook chat yesterday, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was satire. I thought it was a throwback, like that it was news from like a couple years ago. But then they were saying, oh, wait, it's a farewell game for Goran Dragic. Like, this guy's such an idiot, Smooth. Like, he wants to have this whole game to honor himself. Like, he probably threw it himself. Who's throwing it for you, Goran? Yourself. Yeah, that is the most stupidest shit I've ever heard. Yeah, go ahead and do your dumbass thing. It's going to be happening very soon. It's going to happen in the next week. At first, when I saw it, I was like, in the NBA? No, Chris Bosh is not coming back to play an NBA game. He's coming back to play some cardio, maybe run up and down the court slightly. But it's only for some dumbass, this will be worse than the All-Star game. I'm going to predict this. This Goran Dragic farewell game is going to be worse than the quality of the games of the All-Star game the last 2 years. There won't be enough talent to see enough of the really cool plays, and it'll be really lazy, and it'll be like, why are we watching this? It'll feel like that. Now, the oddity of seeing Chris Bosh and Steve Nash and Luol Deng on the court again, yeah, maybe that's cool. But if you really like seeing old guys play, go watch the big three. How about that? How about that? Yeah, yeah. Wayne saying, Raptor Freaks, it's us against the world. Our youngsters will need our encouragement and support, so let's give them that. Milbester, stop copying and pasting stuff unrelated to Toronto Raptors. Yeah, you're pissing me off, Milbester. Seriously. I don't like how you put whole paragraphs and you constantly post. Like, you see how most of the people come to my chat, they're one comment and they come in and say something, but they don't have 10 comments. Seriously, you're not being you're being selfish is what I'll say right here. I'll say right here. Now, Bill Bester's saying that to Alan that because you know what, honestly, I don't have all day, and this isn't the Milbester and Lex show. Seriously, seriously. And if you disagree with Wayne, I might cut you out real quick right now. I'm going to read this one because it has to do with Hidu. Alan, Hidu Turkoglu is a great player. The Magic. Gorham was great with Miami and other teams. Both weren't great in Toronto, but they were still good players on other teams before the rap. We know this shit. What do you fucking tell me? All right, you going to come in and tell me the sky's blue next, Milbester? I know all this shit. What are you fucking? You don't think Alan Tam knows this shit too? Are you trying to say we're stupid? Like, what the fuck? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? We know this. I know Hidu Turkoglu was good on the Sacramento Kings way before the Orlando Magic. I know this. I know that what's a fuck face tragic. He wasn't that good on Miami. He wasn't. You can't even say that. It was overblown. How he was never that good. Honestly, they just man they just kiss his ass there. Yeah, and he's gonna say, Wayne, I'm not. I'm saying the schedule. I did mention Raptors. NBA schedule got released this week. I mentioned Raptors and Knicks. I don't care. You're timed out. You're timed out. I'm done with you today, man. You're timed out. At least today. You're timed out for 24 hours. And I just don't want to see your shit, man. Seriously. Milbester, I don't want to read all your stuff because I've got 1 hour down already. I got 2 hours I do on the show. And you put so many comments in there, you make me go 2.5 hours. So stop. Less is more, Milbester. Less is more is what I'll say right there. Alan's saying Vince is a crybaby, but he was playing for a garbage Raptors team going nowhere. Yeah, I mean, yeah, in some ways, Vince, whatever he did, he did. In some ways, we can rehash this over and over again. Maybe I'll do a Sunday special report why I don't want Vince Carter's jersey retired, and I'll do it again so people can be more fresh in their minds why we should not retire Vince's number. Because there's a lot of people that are talking about retire it. They don't know what the fuck they're saying in some ways. There we go. Cowboys laughing. Cowboys saying, Milbester, you're writing a book, man. Yeah, seriously. Go get a manuscript. Go fucking call Random House and get a book deal. Seriously, my guy. Seriously. Alan's saying Alonzo was traded to the Raptors but refused to report. I don't even know what we're talking about. Oh, did I jump ahead? Oh, it jumped ahead. All right, I missed some comments because Milbester fucking put too much shit in here. Seriously. You made me miss my place because of the way you do stuff. Seriously. All right, let's see. Cowboys saying 2-finger salute to Goran. I like that. Alan's saying also Alonzo and Kenny Anderson who refused to play for the Raptors. Yeah, there were a few guys that refused to come here. There's some lesser known ones that are also there. In fact, it's an idiot's birthday today. I don't even want to say his name. He's the guy who recently said, why would anybody want to come play for the Raptors? The idiot who got traded to Sacramento for Grievous Vasquez, Patrick Patterson, John Salmons, and who was the fourth one? Patrick Patterson, John Salmons, Grievous Vasquez, and who's the fourth one? I should always know the four. Grievous Vasquez, Patrick Patterson, John Salmons, and Chuck Hayes. Chuck Hayes. That's right. It was Chuck Hayes. Yeah, whoever got voted for them, it's his birthday today, but I won't say his name because fuck him is what I'll say right now. Yeah. Blank Man's here. Good to see Blank Man back in the chat today. If Vince makes that jumper to win Game 7 of the 2001 playoffs versus Sixers, how do you think they would have matched up versus the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals? You know, seeing that the Sixers got past them and got to the Lakers that year in 2001, I think we've been all right. I feel like, once again, Vince's casualness about not really caring about the Raptors enough is shown in his trip to UNC that day. In some ways, that was such bullshit. I'm sorry. In some ways, yeah, I get it. Your priority was your education. Well, your education's behind you. You know what's ahead of you? Your NBA career. And that's why I wouldn't fault Zach Edey for going into Summer League with Memphis Grizzlies instead of going to Team Canada, because in some ways he was thinking about his NBA career and his future. Well, Vince wasn't that day. In some ways, him jet flying between going to UNC and coming back for that game that day was a big, huge fail. And it's part of him not really considering the Raptors as a priority, is what I would say like that. Some people get mad at me saying, what are you saying, Lex? No, bullshit. He made us feel like we were second best in his life as far as his UNC Tar Heels graduation. He had to be proud. It's partly his mother who put him on it. You have to go graduate, son. Well, Mom, I'm playing in the playoffs against Allen Iverson. It's been 50 versus 50 back and forth. And this is really crazy. No, you need to go and graduate. Fuck that shit. And then in some ways, him going to UNC on that day shows just how much the Raptors were not important in his life. Seriously. So why the fuck should we graduate or retire his fucking shit? Seriously. Why should we? Why should we? He makes that shot. Yeah, we continue to go forward and hopefully play the Lakers in the championship. But they probably would have won anyway that year. Shaq and Kobe were the best team in the league that year. And also the refs and the NBA were writing scripts for them around that time. So they wouldn't have let the Raptors get past them in the finals, even if we had gotten that far. But yeah, I wish he had made that shot. I'd like him more. I would. I'd like him a lot more. Trust me, Blank Man. Yeah, good question. Cowboys dapping. Blank Man saying that question is as empty as a blank slate. No, I think that it's actually a valid question because that moment was very pivotal for Vince Carter in his Raptors career. It goes in, hey, that's a Kawhi kind of thing right there. That's a Kawhi kind of thing. And it didn't go in, well, we blamed him for going to his graduation. And that's how it went right there. Exactly. Alan's saying Vince is a crybaby, but he's going to play. He's playing for a garbage Raptors team going nowhere. Yeah, I mean, not at that point when we were in the playoffs. No, their team was very good and things were all right at that point. It was only a couple of years later that things devolved when Rob Babcock as the GM of the Raptors at that time. It is what it is. Let's see. Cowboys saying Modesto writing a book. I know it's annoying. Let's see. Brian's here. Good to see King. What's up, Freak Nation? Want to know the real story about Vince? DM me. Okay, you don't want to tell us here? You don't want breaking news? Why don't you put a clip out? You got a channel, Brian. Why don't you get a ton of subscriptions and views if you have this juicy stuff? Why don't you do it, man? Why are you telling them to DM you? That sounds weird. Just tell us if you're gonna drop some juicy stuff like this, Brian. You can't tease us like this. Come on, to the point. Don't do this to us. You better make the content now, because I want to know. You tell me the juicy real story. Come on now, tell me the juiciness. Come on now. Wayne saying, "Fuck me, this Puerto Rican kid doesn't get it. He's Dominican. We'll just say that. It's not NBA channel, fucker. It's a Raptors channel. That's right. That's right. In some ways, I timed him out, Wayne, and I have your heart on this. I do. Blackhawk saying, Black Blank Man is saying, Cowboy Bucks had a really good team with Robinson, Cassell, and Allen. They actually swept the Lakers that year in the regular season. Not saying they would have won in the finals, though. I think that the Raptors could have given them a good run. Now, when the NBA is going to be like, yeah, this Canadian expansion team doesn't need to be going any further in the NBA, and they kind of railroad them out, well, that could have happened in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks because they would have been like, well, which team looks better in a matchup with the Lakers as far as marketing? And in some ways, they may have decided that a little bit between the Sixers and the Bucks at that point because the Bucks weren't that attractive to be in the finals, honestly, and neither were the Raptors. Even though Carter was with us, and that would have been a cool storyline. You know, those are good players, and I have a lot of respect for all three of those Bucks, and I did like that Bucks team, but I still would go with our guys because in some ways we had a very good team also. Vince Carter, Charles Oakley, Kevin Willis, Del Curry, Muggsy Bogues, Alvin Williams. Yeah, we had Antonio Davis. We had a lot of good players on the Raptors in 2001. So I would say that, yeah. Brian's in the house. That's right. Blank Man and Bill Bester. High five. There you go. Alan's saying Alonzo Mourning was part of the Vince trade. That is true. He was, and he never came. And that was part of the reason why that Vince trade was so damaging to us. Vince wanting to leave in the first place, and then Alonzo refusing to come here. Fuck you, Alonzo Mourning. Another piece of garbage Heat Nation person that I can't stand. Alonzo Mourning's on that list with Goran Dragic, and I don't give a shit about any of his health problems or any of his courage awards or any of that kind of bullshit. Fuck off, Alonzo Mourning, you piece of shit. I'll say that every time. G saying, Milbester, that cup grouping shows that the NBA wants the Knicks to do well. Money talks. Well, their grouping is interesting because he's got a couple of Atlantic Division teams in there, Philadelphia and Brooklyn. I don't know if the Knicks will do well. In some ways, I question whether they actually do want the Knicks to do well. In some ways, I don't know. It may be that they want the Sixers to do well in that group. We'll have to see. I like that group. I like that it's a lot of Atlantic Division teams, and I don't know. In some ways, I'm glad we're not in that group. I'll say that. Alan's saying, Big Papa Pump is your hookup. Holler if you hear me. All right, non sequitur, but you know he's had a Scott Steiner's vibe in the last week or so. Alan's saying the CNE has former wrestlers signing autographs for 18 days. This is very good information. Cool, Alan. I like this. Jimmy, the Mouth of the South Heart, Tito Santana, Arriba, and Jerry the King Lawler. Wow, and etc. Ooh, I want to know who etc. is. I'll bet there's even better names. Those aren't bad. Of course, Merced Solis, aka Tito Santana, is very much on the autograph tour. He recently, in the last few years, retired from his teaching job in New Jersey. So he's a lot more on the autograph circuit. Tito Santana. Yeah, I'm a big fan, and I'm in his fan group, and he interacts with us. He talks to us all the time. It's really cool. Like, he actually will talk about stuff that happened in his career in the comments section on posts with fans in his Facebook group. So I'm a huge fan of Merced, aka Tito Santana. Yeah, I love that guy. Blank Man saying Caitlin Clark was balling last night, 29, 5, and 10 in the win. She has really started figuring out the WNBA. That's what people were saying last night. Forget about all rookie team. She might need to be on all WNBA team. Yeah, and she was very smart with how she closed that game. And she wasn't a stat hound, apparently. She could have gotten 30 points if she'd taken another shot at the end of the game, but she refrained, and she didn't. Yeah, I'm really impressed with these two. I'm really thinking, like, in some ways, Victor was a lot of hype when he came in the NBA, Wembanyama. But these two were a lot of hype too, but they're actually for real. Seriously. In some ways, I'll say they're more for real than Victor is right now. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, with all the hype that ESPN put on them and what they're talking about, well, they're coming through with the goods. And in some ways, Victor's been a fail so far, honestly. I'm going to start saying that to a degree about Victor. In some ways, I'm real sour about France. That's right. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. From Sue, y'all. Play it again, Sue. Amazing music reaction channel. I love watching Sue's stuff. I watch a lot of it on Fridays. And yeah, she did a In Excess, Need You Tonight recently. And that's one of my favorite songs when I was a little kid. I love that album Kick. It's got Never Tear Us Apart, Devil Inside, Guns in the Sky. Yeah, really, really good album. Underrated 80s album, In Excess Kick. And yeah, check out Sue's channel. She's doing a music reaction to it. And yeah, you should do more In Excess, definitely. Sue, you should do Never Tear Us Apart next. Seriously, that song's so beautiful with its symphony to it. You know that song. That song is so iconic and one of the most beautiful In Excess songs ever. Don't ask me what you know is true. Don't have to tell you I love your precious heart. I was standing, you were there. Ooh, two worlds collided, and they could never tear us apart. Doom, 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 doom. Yeah, that's the one you got to do, Sue. I love that song. Do 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 do. We could live 1,000 years, but if I hurt you, I make wine from your tears. I told you that we could fly, 'cause we all have wings, but some of us don't know why. Yeah, I was standing. You were there. Two worlds collided. Yes, Sue, do never tear us apart, please. Please, Sue. Please, please, Sue. So happy to see Sue here. So happy to see Sue in the chat. She's saying, I don't buy much ESPN says. Yeah. Are y'all talking about ESPN? I don't care. If Milbester's talking about stuff, I already timed them out. I'm not reading any more of his comments. I want to get done at a certain time today. So, yeah. G saying ESPN has become the biggest fake news peddlers. I don't trust them at all at this point. I don't even look at them anymore. Like, I used to go and look at what ESPN's doing on their front page every single day and whatever bullshit they're out there. And I would talk about what they're saying about the Raptors. I don't even care anymore at this point because it's so stupid at this point. It really is a perception place. It's not journalism anymore. It's about opinion heads like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. And the writers are all writing what they want to happen. In fact, I want to talk about this a lot because, Kevin Pelton talking about who should make the Olympic team for USA in 2028, leaving Scotty out, is absolutely part of what I'm talking about. Perception bullshit to shape things and how they think people should think about what they want to think, whether it's the Raptors as a team, whether it's Scotty as an individual. That website and that channel is fucked. And in some ways, I'm sad that they're still going to continue to be a broadcaster for the NBA going forward. I was really hoping they'd be cut out. Because Disney, ABC, ESPN, they've done a horrible job of covering the NBA for the whole time they've done it. It's only gotten worse. It's not like they're real journalists. They've made a sideshow of it. Part of the reason why the NBA product is so bad is the way that ESPN handles it. That's just the damn truth right there. That's just the damn truth right there. Cowboys saying I'm with the 30th anniversary being the underdogs. We're going to shock a lot of people and teams this year. Chef Darko is going to be a skillet. Yeah, I'll agree with this, Cowboy. I will agree with this wholeheartedly. Like we have nothing to lose. Everybody expects us to be shitty, so we're going to be better than what they think, and we're going to steal games against teams that people think we have no business beating. That's going to happen this year, and they're going to be fun when we get those kind of wins. Like we beat a team like the Denver Nuggets, we beat a team like I don't know, the Sixers on a certain night. Yeah, people are going to be like, "Whoa, the Raptors are supposed to be shitty, and they're supposed to lose this game, and they didn't." And that's going to happen this year multiple times. In fact, I hope like 10 or 12 times. And so we get closer to 40 wins. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Most saying, Lex, do you remember John Saunders, who passed away? I remember him well calling with Rod Black. Do you think they do something in his memory? Well, they honor John Saunders a lot over the years. The broadcasters really love him. I know that Leo Routens had a very special connection with John Saunders, the original voice of the Raptors at the very, very beginning. Chuck Swirsky didn't show up till 98. And John Saunders did a lot of the Raptors games early on. John Saunders is a great Canadian broadcaster born in Toronto who was very successful in the States also. I knew John Saunders because of football in Florida. He used to cover Florida State Seminoles games sometimes, and he was on ABC on in the States. So he was big time. He's a broadcasting legend. He's a Canadian product, and he's somebody that we should all be proud of. I mean, I should probably do a Share the Love Club for John Saunders at some time. He'll get his own. But yeah, he's somebody who's not forgotten. He's gone, but he's definitely not forgotten. And I do remember him from the very beginning and how important he was in the initial Raptors broadcasts in the early years of the expansion. And yeah, he's a legend in broadcasting. And all of his peers love him. Rod Black probably could tell you a lot of great John Saunders stories. And Leo Routens, I know. Oh my gosh, he had such a close affinity for John Saunders. And tragically, he passed very, very young. He was too young when he died. Very, 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 very young. And that's sad. We'll definitely do a Share the Love Club for him at some point. Maybe we'll have to do it soon, just because we're covering the 30 years of the anniversary this year. And we want to go and honor all the people from the history in some ways. Yeah, yeah. Stargate saying, you have warned Milbester thousands of times. The fact that he constantly keeps doing the same thing over and over again, ignores you, tells me he's a troll. I don't think he's a troll, though, Stargate. I think that in some ways he means well. In some ways, he's not doing this maliciously. He's an excited guy who's excited about New York sports and baseball. And he just wants to have somewhere to talk. And in some ways, we're an outlet for anybody to come talk to. In some ways, I get it. I don't think he's doing this maliciously. I think in some ways, just like I have some certain proclivities with my personality and quirks, I think that Milbester does also. And as far as that, I want to just be a humanitarian and say, Milbester, you're cool, but don't monopolize my chat. And I agree with you guys being frustrated. I'm just as frustrated right now, too. So, man, seriously, Milbester, can you have like 3 comments a stream? Could you do that? Because I could coexist with you if you only want 3 to 5 comments a stream. But you writing in like 20 comments is not going to fly anymore. Seriously. You're waiting until the timeout and you're writing in the next one. Wait until the timeout, writing it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Bring in one topic, and hopefully it's Raptors related, if not at least NBA related. And we'll get to it. We'll talk about it, but don't spam and write so much like you've been doing, like you did today. Seriously, that's right. Back to the corner. Timeout. Timeout. That's right. I'm not going to read them all because there's a lot. There's a lot there. Cowboys saying, let's go. 30th anniversary Raptors and Raptor Freaks. That's right. All right, let's go look at the Instagram check. Let's go to there. We'll start off with Precious. He's still in Nigeria at his court, Port Harcourt. And he's shooting threes from the baseline. He's been practicing his 3-point shot from the corner. Milbester, that'll be something you want to hear. Is Chua's working on his corner threes over in Nigeria right now. Chris Boucher's got a clip where he's talking to the guys after they played the game with Scotty. The clip we showed the other day where they were at the CBBG or whatever game. Chris was invited to speak to the guys after the game, just like Rico Hines would ask the vet, like Kevon Looney, to speak to the trainees that are there working out on some words of wisdom at the end of the game. And well, Chris has got his, talking to the youngsters there that were at that game, like Quincy Guerriere. So very cool. And he says, sometimes the messenger has to be the message. Okay, Chris, you know what? Whatever's going on with you, man, I just want you to excel and be around on the Raptors as long as you can. Listen to Coach Darko and fit in. And he's got a clip of Bob Marley, which I love. He's got Bob Marley on there. and the song "Redemption" song is on there. So, Chris, are you getting some redemption? Because I'd love for you to get some redemption in that Raptors red this season for us on the court. Get some redemption. I'm hearing it. Yeah, and the interviewer is asking Bob Marley, how much money have you made on music? And he said, well, it depends. What do you think is a lot of money? Well, have you made millions? He said, I have not, is what Bob Marley said. Lloyd and Scotty are at the same place, and that is in Madrid, in Spain. And Scotty has gone this morning to Real Madrid's practice field. This is where Siakam was just a couple weeks ago. Like in the last 2 weeks, Siakam was there with the team messing around. Well, Scotty and Lloyd are there. And it's kind of interesting to see that Lloyd's traveling with Scotty at this point. That I know that Lloyd will be around Scott at different times, but it looks like he's in Spain just hanging out with Scotty while they're doing that training camp in Malaga. So very, very interesting that Lloyd's checking in at Real Madrid court, just like Scotty is. Scotty's got nice pictures of him at the pool in Malaga. He looks so happy. He's wearing like a checkerboard outfit, and he's got sunglasses on, big chain on his neck, and he's smiling. He's smiling real nice. He looks like he's living his best life. He's laughing and he's happy. We love to see our guy, our franchise face, Scotty Barnes, happy. And there's the picture of him at the Real Madrid court field also. Gary Trent Sr. is still training the kids. He's got his camp going on. It looks like he's got a good group out there. Very, very good group. Garrett Temple returning to LSU and speaking to the current LSU Tigers that are playing basketball for that school. Of course, he's given back to the school that he went to. And boy, does he have advice for these youngsters. He could teach them a lot, being an 18-year vet of the NBA. So, yeah, Garrett Temple giving back to his alma mater and LSU, talking to them. Does that mean he's not in Spain? I'm wondering about that. Dubber Don had an event yesterday, guys. I don't know. I wish I'd known about this sooner. I would have put this on blast and help you get people out there, Dubber Don. But he had a summer festival out in Rexdale yesterday. And people could have gone to this. It was from 1 to 6 yesterday. And there was a back-to-school giveaway, 3-on-3 basketball tournament, food, drinks, games, and more. It was Delano Banton Summer Festival. Yeah, it's too bad he didn't post this until the day of, and he said, come out today. It's today up here right now. And I wish he'd said this earlier in the day so I could have put it on blast and let y'all know that the Delano Banton Summer Festival was going on in Rexdale yesterday. So, yeah, that was at Panorama Court in Rexdale Hub is where that went down. So, yeah, and then they had people getting their hair cut while they were there. They had the barbers share out, and people were getting their hair cut at Delano Banton Summer Festival. And we see some of the food and all the people having a good time. Really, really cool, fun stuff. I love to see Delano coming back to the greater Toronto area and doing stuff with the community here. It's really awesome. Don't ever forget where you're from, Delano. I know you won't. Raptors, the Raptor is putting on the blast, the new schedule drop. A day late, Raptor, but I love seeing you put the old school on there. It's very cool. Raptors 905 is finishing up their camp for this week, and they had a special guest, Andrew Jones, coach of the 905, coming in and giving certificates to the youngsters for graduating. And he's really enthusiastic and emphatic, and he brings out Stripes, the mascot of the 905. And, yeah, Andrew Jones is awesome. I can already tell he's going to be a big upgrade from Eric Curry as the coach of the 905. His energy and his presence is just better. Trust me, it's just better. He commands some respect, and also he knows what he's talking about because obviously the man played basketball. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. There's one kid at the 905 camp that really gets down. I don't know. Y'all go check out the Raptors 905 clips on the Instagram stories because there's this one kid in orange shoes that's doing some moves, and he's badass. Like, I think if Scotty saw this clip, he would be like, that kid is badass. Like, this kid is so good. He really knows some moves. Like he starts good and he gets better and better. I'm like, what is this kid doing? Where is he from? This kid is amazing. He's doing all the little gritties and all the little hop jumps. He could have beat that Australian girl at the Olympics. He's so good. He would have beat that fraud the Olympics, Ray Gunn. Yeah, that's right. That's a wrap. See y'all next week, is Andrew Jones telling the campers out at the 905 camp this week. Norman Powell has all kinds of summer stories going on. He's spending time with his niece. He's spending time with his friends. He's got clips from the Pro-Am in Toronto. He's just having a good time. Good summer for Norman. There's some clips from him being in Europe and all the different places he's been all summer. This is much better than being in Vegas and accosted by a racist lady at a gym telling you to get the hell out of there. Yeah, this is a better summer for Norman. This is a better summer for him. There's your Instagram stories right there. Yeah, I like to see that Lloyd is in Spain with Scott, traveling with him. So he's part of his entourage at this point. I'll bet she's going to be around him a lot. There you go. Trevor J saying, we got the Raptors games tickets, the back-to-back in LA, and the LA Lakers ticket was the most expensive. So Trevor's got tickets to the early season road trip to go to LA to play the Clippers and then the Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back in LA. And Trevor's got tickets to both games. So you're going to be going to the new arena for the Clippers, the Intuit Dome. I want you to tell me more about that new arena and what it's like. I'll bet you it's way better than Crypto. I'll bet you it's way, way better than Crypto. And that the Clippers have the best arena in LA now. That brand new arena that Steve Ballmer built is absolutely insane. Seriously, there's some really cool features to the Clippers' new arena. And Trevor, you're going to have to go down there and give us a scouting report when you go there. Seriously. Blank Man saying, if Rafer Alston stays in Toronto after 2005 with Chris Bosh, do you think they had potential to be a legit contending duo? People got to remember that Bosh, his years in the Raptors were hot and cold. There'd be a really, really bad year where they stunk and they did a bad record, but then they get to the playoffs the next year. So Bosh's years weren't absolutely fails. And yeah, Rafer was a very interesting Raptor to be on our team. And that time there was turmoil partly because of Sam Mitchell. He was our coach. He was a coach of the year, but he was also a dick. Seriously. And there's a story from Rafer Alston that he says that Sam Mitchell was overstepping as the coach of the Raptors at that time. And he was saying stuff like, yeah, you can't date this person, Rafer. You shouldn't be dating this woman. She's a hood rat. You shouldn't be around her. She's going to drag you down. So Sam Mitchell was getting a little bit too much into other people's business as the coach of the Raptors. And he would even challenge some of the Raptors to fight in practice. He was that crazy as our coach. Yeah, sure, he won a coach of the year for us. But yeah, Sam Mitchell has always been kind of crazy around the Raptors. And even when he was a coach, he was causing problems, just so y'all know. He seriously was. So I don't know. The coaching situation, the front office situation, not the best for the Raptors. Colangelo was all right. But Rafer Alston was a great player on the Raptors. I enjoyed Rafer when he played for us. And in some ways, he came here correct. And he's been an honored a Raptor alumni in my book. I've never heard him diss us. He's been educated and smart enough as a street baller and one baller to know that Toronto and Canada was cool and playing for the Raptors was all right. I've never heard him diss us. So I have an ultimate respect for a street ball legend from New York named Rafer Alston. If he could have made things work longer with them, I mean, we got to think about the point guards around that time too. Is Jose's show, and TJ Ford, of course, was around at that time also. And those guys were more prominent in the success of the Raptors around that time with Bosh in that Bosh era. Yeah, I don't know. They could have been a contending duo if things had gotten right. I think if we'd had right big men, maybe the problem was we drafted Bargnani and we really needed a physical big man to pair with Bosh. And that could have changed the chances for the Raptors at that point to be more of a playoff team. I would say that right there. And that's on Colangelo. In some ways, I'm not mad at the Bargnani first draft pick of the draft that year because he really did have amazing potential. And honestly, it's just Colangelo was ahead of his time. Bargnani would be a top player in the NBA at this point because he is that kind of player that fits with the game now. He didn't fit with it then. Yeah, Cowboys saying, Trevor J, how much? How much? Those tickets? So you can ask him how much? $300 is what he's saying to go to the Laker game. Yeah, Cowboys saying, wow, the Lakers and Clippers going down. They're going down. Yeah, Trevor J, go down there and bring that Raptor freak energy and help us win from the inside behind enemy lines. That's right. Amit's here. Good to see Amit Gaming, our current Raptor Freak Trivia champion of Season 3. His name is on this trophy right here. And if you want your name on that trophy, you got to play Tuesday Trivia with us, accumulate points, and you will get added to the big badass champion trophy of trivia that we got here. I've been listening in for the past 30 minutes. Just wanted to say what's up to everyone. I'm sorting my basketball cards, and I'm not a good multitasker, so I may not write anything, but I'll be here. Well, you can listen, my guy. You know what? You're like the antithesis of Milbester right now, Amit. You're going to just write in one comment, say I'm listening, but I'm not going to say anything. It's all good. You're cool. Amit, I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you listening in. Yeah, I'm sure Amit has some really good cards. I'm going to guess. Like the cards he's going through right now, he's probably got some amazing basketball cards. And in some ways, that's why he does so well in the classic cards sometimes, is because he's collecting these cards. And he may have some of these cards that I put up on the screen. Isaac said, Milbester got to use that time machine he had the other day when he somehow knew the NBA schedule before anyone else and go back to time to reverse that Primo Andrea Bargnani deal. There you go. All right, there you go. Onions, baby. Onions on that one. For sure, getting it back to the Chuck Swirsky. Yeah. All right. You know what? Listen, Isaac, I'm gonna give you a 3-pointer. I love what you just said. I think you're hilarious. And yeah, yeah. In some ways, I don't want to pick on Milbester too much. It's just you come in here and you write so much, you make yourself a target. I'm sorry, my guy. You got 98 dunks now, Isaac. 98. I give you a 3. You're 98, my guy. What a great year in the Raptors history. I think so. We drafted Vince. Cowboys laughing. All right, Smooth saying, looking back at Andrea Bargnani, he would have thrived in today's game. He had a solid career. I didn't mind him. Yeah, he was a double machine. That's the one thing that nobody says about Bargnani. Both him and Bosch were double machines. Both of them were getting double digits in rebounds and points. It's just nobody else on that team was doing anything else, and they didn't have any physicality. So they just got pushed around down low, and they couldn't hold anybody out. We had no paint presence, and everybody could go down low on the Raptors during that era because we didn't have good defense. Chris Bosh is a horrible low post defender for the Raptors. He got better at Miami, and he did help them more then when he got stronger and a little bit better with like kind of holding space. But when he was on the Raptors, he was a screen door or a revolving door. People could just go right by him and do whatever they wanted at our basket. That was probably the biggest problem with those Raptors teams when Bosh was on our team, is we had no interior defensive presence. And that was a huge open door policy for people to come in. All right, let me see. All right, where am I in the chat? I want to make sure. That's a great comment, Smooth. You kind of just said what I was just saying there. Dunk for Isaac. Yeah, we got Isaac. Yeah, Isaac's awesome. I really do enjoy Isaac. All right, 99. We'll give him the 99. The George Mikan. There you go. Sue saying, oh, that is a great song, Lex. Good performance, buddy. Maybe I should review covering it. You should definitely do that song. You know, there's a lot of hits on that Kick album. Devil Inside, Devil Inside, Devil Inside. Every single one of us a devil inside. Whoa, devil inside. Yeah. Or new sensation. I got a new sensation. Perfect moment coming. Possible to refuse. Yeah, there's a lot of good songs on Kick. You should definitely go further into it. And even the deep cuts are good songs. Like songs like Wild Life, Wild Life. When it's bad, it ain't bad enough. Or Guns in the Sky. Dun-dun, guns in the sky, life grows up to see. Guns in the sky, just be on TV. Gotta change, gotta joke. You get to see I'm running late. Da love your hair. Yeah, I'll sing the whole album of Kick today if we have to. That's right. Wayne saying, any update on Coloco? How many of our upstarts are in Spain? Who's at the 905? All right. No update on Coloco still. No news on the Western Front about Coloco. So I can't. I would tell you guys right away if we knew. Mostly I've seen most of the youngsters out there. It's weird that Garrett's in LSU, but it could be that Garrett was there before and the clips are just coming out, and he is actually in Spain with the rest of them, because we'd want to have most of the team at the Spain training camp. And I really don't. I think that most signs are showing that most of them are there. So I can't say for sure who is in Spain, but I'm going to say most of them are there. I know most of the youngsters are DJ Carton, Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed, Brandon Carlson, Jaka Pirtle, Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly. Kelly Olynyk is there too. I've seen him there too. So we'll have to see who's at the 905. Well, the 905 thing I was talking about is just a kids coach, camping coach, kids camp with Coach Drew Jones is there running it, and there's none of the players that are around. It's just that they're running a youth camp at 905 in Mississauga for children this week is what's going on there. Cowboy saying dunk for Tommy Dukes. Yeah, and Isaac. All right, we can give Tommy Duke. Tommy, I love your new profile picture on Facebook, you guys. 121, and I love seeing Maisie too. It's really cool to see Tommy's dog on his Facebook there. That's awesome. Ha ha. Tommy, you're at 121. Blank Man is saying a big boxing match is in Center Videotron in Quebec, Canada. It's on ESPN Plus. The main event is this guy, Christian Mibili, who is French. I wanted to go, but I have to get a passport. Okay, this is borderline kind of not really something we would talk about here, Blank Man. But I you know what? Get a passport and definitely come to Canada. Canada is a great place to come visit no matter what, whether you're going to a boxing match or whatever you want to do up here. Come on up and definitely come and check out our country, Blank Man. We welcome you with open arms. Suzanne, we are way better than they think. I can't wait to see their faces when we beat them. Never underestimate our Raptors. I love that. I'm going to give Sue a big 3-pointer for that one. That is so awesome. Sue, you got that Scotty Barnes number 4 now. Look at that. Sue doesn't get a lot of dunks because she's not always in here. But when she comes in, yeah, I love to see her. And yeah, I think this is totally true. We've said this many years in the past. They underestimate us. Well, we're going to come and get more wins than they think. Last year, we did bad. We did not do better than I thought we would. And this year, we should do better than we think they think we will. And that's for sure. I think that's true. Yeah, Tommy's saying nothing. He's taking it back. And Cowboy he wants the Farmer's app today. All right, you want to hear what we're doing today on the Old Farmer's Almanac? Let's see. What is the advice from the Old Farmer's Almanac? This is a historical document that has told people throughout centuries how to farm their land. And well, this is what we're going to find out right here. So let's see where it is and what is up. Whoa, why does it look so weird today? Let me make sure I got it right. Why is that so weird today? Are they counting down to some sort of weird thing that's happening today? What is going on, Old Farmer's Almanac? This isn't normal. All right, where is it? They're counting down to the winter forecast 10 days from now. All right, that's great. All right, this is the best day, Cowboy, to set posts or pour concrete. Once again, this is 2 days in a row that they said set some posts and concrete, Cowboy. So if you're working concrete work, you're doing the right job today. For Tada Services, 647-833-6844 is a cleaning service. And well, if you need some concrete poured, I think they'll come and help you with that, right? Today's a great day to pour some concrete, Cowboy. So go pour concrete. Larry Tannenbaum will be very, very, very proud of you for pouring the concrete. That's right. Yeah. Wayne's saying, is Blank Man Milbester or one is the Canadian version of the American model? No, Blank Man showed up this week. And honestly, I don't mind Blank Man showing up because at first they were mad about me honoring Brittany Griner on Monday. And then we talked and we had a difference of opinion, but we were respectable and fine with it. And then he was intrigued about what we do on this channel as far as what topics are on and off limits. And I said, well, it depends. It depends. It should be closely related to the Raptors most of the time or the NBA. But yeah, no, Blank Man's all right. He's done all right. Milbester is just over spamming in the comments. And that's the problem right there. Yeah. Monique saying, I brought back thoughts as we talked, Chuck, today in reference to John Saunders. Yeah, it made you think about John Saunders. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, because he was kind of the predecessor of Chuck, because John Saunders did call games. He was a play-by-play in the early years of the Raptors. And so he was the play-by-play before Chuck Swirsky and Matt Devlin. So he was in that spot before. Yeah, we're going to have to do John Saunders. You made me very much realize this. Now, Mo, I'm going to start reading that prehistoric book, and I'm sure he's involved in that book. So I'm going to read that and get some more background on the very early stuff that Alex Wong did such a great job getting so many interviews from such early people around the Raptors franchise when it first started. Man, Alex Wong, you're a hero, man. You really are. And you're going to get a share of love too, man. You're going to get a share of love too, Alex Wong. That's right. You will. You will, as a great documentarian and historian of the Raptors culture. Alex Wong is top notch. That's right. We're going to cover him. I'm going to do a Sunday special book report on the prehistoric book when I finish it, and I'll break down everything I learned from it that I love and just how good it is. I'm so late on this, but this is actually perfect because we're about to start the 30th anniversary season, and we're going to be all nostalgic. Well, why not read the prehistoric book right before that season? And go ahead and get all of our knowledge of the very early days of the formation of the Raptors organization. Yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. We got a bunch of people we could do share love for. That's right. Cowboys saying, when does the 905 start? And is there a schedule out yet? I'll be going to games this year for sure. They don't come out with this schedule for a while. When it comes out, we'll know because we'll see it, and we'll definitely let you know. But once again, the 905 season doesn't start right as soon as the NBA season. I think it starts like maybe a couple weeks in or even a month into the NBA season. So, yeah, there's not going to be a 905 schedule probably. Maybe it'll come out by the end of this month. Maybe it'll come out by the end of August. I could see that in the next 2 weeks. Let's see. Most saying W stream, W vibes. There's my cutoff. There we go. I was even telling my dad yesterday, you know what? I should just respect Monique's cutoff. Well, if I'm not at 2 hours right when it happens, like if it's at 2 hours and those X's are on the screen, I'm going to cut off and just walk away if there's anything written after it. But we have overtime because there's still another 30 minutes of the stream. And that's partly because I didn't read all of Milbester's comments. There you go. Cowboys saying later, Lex and Monique, Rapid Freaks. Everyone have a great Saturday. There you go. I love it. And peace from Tommy Dookie to the Rapid Freak family. Carlos saying, happy Saturday, Lex and Philip Freaks. Happy Saturday to you, Raptor Freak Carlo. Really good to see you, my guy. Peace. Yeah, and there's the Mug Brothers symbol by Tommy. There you go, Cowboy and the Mug Brothers. Chris comes here. Good to see the great Chris come check in. Another great Raptor Freak that we see from time to time. Always happy to see Chris come here. Yeah, Mug Brothers, bro. Yeah, it's MSJ, Mug Brothers. Respect. Kareem saying Costco got Raptors hoodie sweaters for $28.99 stitch. There you go. There you go. That's the kind of news we need right there. Kareem's dropping off knowledge on where the hoodies, Raptors hoodies, are on sale. Get down there to Costco and get your Raptors hoodie. Thank you, Kareem. That's awesome. Omari, good morning to Omari Parsons, a great Raptor freak. Omari, I hope you're having a great, safe weekend and everything and is the best for you and good things are happening for you. My good friend Omari. I'm thinking about you all the time, my guy. And yeah, if you need to rent or want get a mortgage in the greater Toronto area on the west side and Niagara, Brampton, London, Waterloo, Hamilton area, even in the Etobicoke, Mississauga area, Omari Parsons is your guy. He's a realtor. He can help you out. So look him up online. He can help you. Wayne's saying Rafer Alston was known not to follow the script and deviated from coach's instructions. If players' outside activities affected team cohesion, the coach has to address it. Although Sam was a dickhead. I mean, there's a lot to this. All right, I think that that's an unfair kind of portrayal of Rafer Alston, because honestly, this is the weird thing about Rafer. Rafer was a very wild kind of basketball tricks kind of guy. He was the kind of guy who could do the really fancy kind of dribbling stuff that's showboaty that is not necessary in the NBA. But when I used to watch him to see if he'd do that stuff. But he was very methodical. He could play two different ways. He could play the and one way, and he could play the NBA way. Now, sometimes if it was safe, he would throw a little bit of and one's kind of spin or something into something. But it was usually very smartly done and not a problem like a turnover because he did it. So I'm going to say this right now. I don't think that's exactly true. I think that Rafer Alston, considering that he was successful in transitioning from a mixtape kind of career and street baller career, a Rucker Park career, kind of like legend, to an NBA career, and he actually did play in the NBA for a few years. I don't think this is exactly true. Now, it may be partly that he was kind of difficult in times and ways. Now, I don't know about this. What is the coach's responsibility? Is the coach's responsibility to tell people who they can and can't date? I don't know about this. I mean, seriously. He's overstepping. I'm sure Sam Mitchell was overstepping. I'm sure he was. Chris comes saying, I can't believe you sang Never Tear Us Apart in excess. Yeah, I love that album. I really, really do love that album. Hallucinate, desegregate, mediate, alleviate, try not to hate, love your mate, don't suffocate on your own hate. Mediate, the second part of Need You Tonight. In some ways, Sue, you should have done Need You Tonight, Mediate, because that was the cool part. Of course, the homage to Bob Dylan with the signs in the video. Oh man, In Excess, that album was very formative to me in 1986 as an 11-year-old kid. Yeah, I love that album. It was just cool. In Excess was cool, man. And I went and got all their old albums because of that album too, like Listen Like Thieves and stuff like that. After Kick, they weren't as good. The X album was and they kind of went off downhill after Kick, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, Kick was amazing. That was the height of their career, and that is a masterpiece. That album is actually a masterpiece. You could listen to Kick all the way through, and you won't hear a bad song, and you'll be like, this album has a vibe to it, and it kind of flows really good into each other. Like when the part of Devil Inside comes on, like oh, that's so good. And the way the album starts with Guns in the Sky, Guns in the Sky. Yeah. It's funny that Chelsea thought that song was Another One Bites the Dust. I was like, Chelsea, no, it's not Queen. It's In Excess. It's In Excess. Yeah, Blank Man said, I hear you talk about NBA players that refuse to go play in Canada, like Steve Francis with Vancouver and Zoe going to Toronto. How does that work exactly? Aren't they fined unless they show up? They hold out. They basically do a Kawhi is basically what they did. They do a Kawhi, what he did to San Antonio. They basically say, yeah, I know I'm legally supposed to go to Toronto or Vancouver, but they say, I won't report. I'll rather just stay home. They don't get paid. They're that's how strongly they feel about it. It's like, well, I'm not even going to sign the contract or come up there. I won't report. Well, it puts the team in a bad position, and usually the team has to go ahead and trade the asset immediately. And that's kind of what happened. I think what happened with us with Alonzo Mourning was even worse because we didn't turn around and trade him. We had to waive him. And that was basically like, think about it this way. Vince Carter's contract money was matched with the Alonzo Mourning money. And we got like Eric Williams and Aaron Williams with him, and maybe one other player. I don't remember. And those were just throw-ins. And Alonzo was the big chunk of the money that we got from Vince going to New Jersey. And he never showed up. So we got a big hole in our roster for the money because I think we didn't even get to trade him afterwards. They just waived him afterwards, and that may have been the idiocy of Rob Babcock. He said, Alonzo, you're not going to show up. And then he even kind of said something. I remember the time he started complaining about his health problems. He said, oh, I'm not feeling that great. I can't come to Toronto and play there. And then magically he could play at the Miami Heat afterwards. I mean, it's that kind of bullshit. Seriously. It's basically like a Kawhi holdout and say, yeah, I'm just not going to show up. And then they forced the team to have to do something. Steve Francis got traded to Houston. So it's that kind of thing. Carlos saying, I wonder if they have those hoodies online. Probably. Maybe. You can get on the NBA store. There's different places you can get official NBA apparel, Raptors apparel. Yeah. Omari saying, God bless. God bless you, man. And keep going, man. Keep going. Keep going. That's what I'm going to say. Brian saying, I'm going to know next week. I'm going to the Lakers game here. Yeah, you better get that ticket early, Brian. That ticket's going to be a hot seller right away. And people that don't realize the Raptors season is coming up quick, well, they're going to sleep on this, and they are going to not get to see Bron and Bronny's show because they didn't even realize the season was starting, and it was one of the first games of the season. So this is when you're a Raptors freak, you're on top of it. If you're a casual fan, you're just kind of casual Toronto fan, you probably don't know this yet. And there's probably a lot of people that want to see LeBron this season, and they're used to LeBron coming in April or May or March. No, April or March. And he'll be coming here in November right away, and they'll sleep on it, and he'll already come through, and they'll be like, oh, man, I miss Bron and Bronny. You deserve it if you're that kind of fan, and you're so casual that you didn't understand that. You deserve that. Yeah. Smith saying Eric and Aaron Williams in Mourning with the first-round pick, Joey Graham for Vince Carter. Yeah. And Joey Graham didn't pan out. Joey Graham did not pan out. He played a couple years, and he was okay. He never averaged over 10 points. And he had a twin brother, Steven. But yeah, that was such a bad trade. That's the worst trade in Raptors history. Vince Carter trade is the worst trade in Raptors history. I can honestly say that. The way that it went down and the outcome and what happened to the Raptors and how it devastated our franchise, it was horrible. And a lot of it is because Vince said, I have to leave, and he forced it. It's horrible. All right, I see I'm at the end of the chat. So let me go ahead and just check my tabs and see what we're talking about. We're talking about Chuck Swirsky today, guys. Chuck Swirsky grew up in Bellevue, Washington. He's a graduate of Interlake High School, born in Norfolk, Virginia, 70 years old, American-Canadian radio sports announcer for the Chicago Bulls. We love Chuck Swirsky. We love him so much. He used to do play-by-play with the University of Michigan. And guess who was one of his color commentators when he was at Michigan? The GM of the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, used to call games with Chuck Swirsky at University of Michigan. Can you imagine that? Rob Pelinka doing the color commentary with Chuck? Yeah, that'd be weird. That'd be very, very weird. Just a little fun fact about that. Of course, we talked about the Max Headroom situation. Chuck has had some controversies. We weren't totally sure. I tried to look up the Cito Gaston controversy. I couldn't find anything on it. If whatever Chuck said about him, it's in the archives of the Fan 590 and maybe on some reel somewhere or some place. My hands smell like onions. That's weird. But yeah, Chuck's a very cool guy. And once again, for newer Raptors fans that don't know who Chuck Swirsky is, y'all need to go do research. Go watch some old Raptors clips, and you'll hear his call. He's such an important guy from our past. He really, really is. Really, really is. All right, let's go look at the NBA page on ESPN just for a second. It's stupid. I don't even care what they're saying. Yeah, none of this is important. I don't care. They're gonna ignore us, so I have nothing to do with them. I don't have nothing to do with them because they're like that. That's right. Let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about on here? Apparently, Andrew Wiggins is still dealing with family issues, and there's an emergency once again with his family's health, and that was part of the reason why he couldn't play this summer, is what they were trying to say. Whatever, they're trying to cover up shit once again. In some ways, what are the excuses? I don't care. In some ways, I just wish Mitchell and your family get better. Andrew, nothing against you, man. I love you, and I love your dad as a Florida State Seminole and former NBA player. We want him to be okay. So there you go. Oh, this is something I should talk about. This is really important, actually. There's a clip that was posted on Twitter yesterday of Grady Dick playing blind basketball. I think this clip is old. This is not a new clip. I think this is from his Kansas days, but it's so stupid. It's like Grady and this other guy have blindfolds on, and they're not like the Cedric Ceballos blindfolds where you could see through it and dunk and win a dunk championship. Cedric Ceballos of the Phoenix Suns. No, these are real blindfolds where you can't see jack shit. And there's like a 4-minute clip of Grady fucking around on a basketball court and just throwing the ball off the side of the rim, off the side of the backboard, trying to block things, trying to go up. He's nowhere near where the basket is. And he doesn't make any of the shots. It's absolutely ridiculous and stupid. And I'm like, dude, don't do this anymore. Why are you doing this, Grady? I mean, is it funny? Okay. If it's just for a funny TikTok or something like that, okay, I get that. But don't ever train like this ever again. It's a waste of time and you might hurt yourself. So Grady Dick, blind basketball, you're cut off. In some ways, we tell players, no, don't date that hood rat, Sam Mitchell telling Rafer Alston. Maybe, no, don't ride that motorcycle. It's dangerous. Don't play blind basketball, Grady Dick. I will say that. Don't play blind basketball. It's a ridiculous clip. It's on Twitter and different places. You don't have to go look at it, but it's really dumb. It's really, really, really dumb. Let's say they revealed more of the Casey Bannerman jersey, the Air Canada jersey that we've been seeing little snapshots of it. And Casey has outdone himself on this one. It's the purple front, black back Vince era jersey with Air Canada across the part where the name would be. And he's managed to immortalize 3 different iconic Carter dunks on one jersey. It's absolutely fire. On the front, he's got the one dunk and then 2 more dunks on the back. And it's absolutely fantastic. So cool. So cool. Some news about the Pro-Am in Vancouver, Ball Don't Stop game. They had the one in Toronto already where Chris Boucher and Norman Powell were at it. Well, the one out in Vancouver is going to feature Shaedon Sharpe of the Portland Trailblazers and Malachi Flynn. Malachi Flynn will be playing in the Ball Don't Stop Pro-Am in Vancouver very soon. And here is the stat that I was saying to Milbester. He didn't believe me. Hardest strength of schedule until the NBA Cup knockout round is the Raptors. We're playing teams that have a record, an average of 0.566, and Portland is second. And Phoenix is third, Milbester. And the Nets are fourth, and the Warriors have the 5th hardest schedule at that time. So, yeah, whatever. You're bullshit. Milbester trying to say some other bullshit. No, the hardest schedule for any team in the NBA to the knockout round in the mid of December is the Raptors. That is the hardest schedule. All right, let's see. I already said whose birthday it is. I won't even name him. He's the guy who got traded for 4 players from Sacramento. The first huge trade that Masai Ujiri did that was absolutely fantastic and successful in Raptors history. Yeah, that trade. I don't even want to say his name. I'm disrespecting him on his birthday because he's not welcome, because he said he never want to play for the Raptors. Well, fuck you. You got traded and you ushered in the great era of Masai in the Raptors history. So that's what you get, idiot. That's what I say to that guy. Yeah, and let's see. I think that's it. Oh, yeah, your WNBA teams, keep up with them. There are fantasy games that you need to play so that you can win the WNBA Raptors Freak Fantasy League. Yeah, I'm beating David pretty good. I don't know if he's going to come back this week. I'm going to beat David this week. Yes. I'm beating the trivia champion, trivia commissioner, David Saborin. He's such an ultimate competitor. And when I beat him, I'm so, I feel proud. Seriously. Carlos said, I always love Chuck. And whenever I hear him, I get reminded of my teen years. I didn't know why he left. Thanks for the episode, Lex. Yeah, it's about family. And that stuff about his wife, I don't know exactly what's true. I know it's probably very true. The thing about his child having the health concerns and them needing to go because of that. I think he did get an ultimatum because it wasn't what he wanted to do at that time. And he had to make a very tough decision. He chose his family. And in some ways, I respect that, even if I'm sad that he was no longer a voice of our team. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting story. Anyway, y'all, thanks for watching me today on Show the Love Club for Chuck Swirsky. That's right. Onions, baby. I got onions, baby. Literally, I've got onions, baby. And they smell. I want to go wash my hands now because I don't want these onion smells all day. I might smell like Burger King for the rest of the day. I'm like, Burger King, onion rings. So you know what, y'all? I'm going to do something special right now. First of all, tomorrow, Sunday special report, we're going to talk about what's wrong with 2K ratings. Yeah, we're going to talk about the NBA 2K. Amit Gaming, I'm going to need you to come in there because you're an expert on this since you have 2K in your name. Yeah, we're going to talk about what the fuck Ronnie and them are doing with the NBA 2K ratings. So, Sunday special report. What's wrong with the NBA 2K ratings? Everything is wrong with them. And we're going to go over why tomorrow. Sunday report, 9 a.m. And now I'd like to say this to you guys, get out the salami and cheese, baby, because I'm done with the stream today. There's the cheese. I'm lactose intolerant, so I'll just hold the cheese and show it to you, but I'll eat the salami. So yeah, let's get out the salami cheese, baby. This one's over. Thanks for watching me. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Rapid Free Channel. Sunday special report. NBA 2K. Ronnie, you're an idiot, is what I'll say. Please like, comment, share, and join the channel if you feel like it. There's a lot of privileges. Like you get to know the news when we post it in the Facebook chat. W and salami. Thank you, Isaac. And Chris comes saying that NXS song is amazing. Good choice. I just rediscovered it this year. That whole album's amazing, Chriscom. Just listen to NXS Kick. It's really good. Really good. Like the salami. Get out the salami and cheese, baby. Yeah, I got it here, right here. Thanks, Chuck. We love you. Always a Raptors alumni. We love you, Chuck Swirsky. We always love you, man.